Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Mic'd Podcast. I'm Mike, a hairdresser of over 20 years. One of the best parts of my job is the conversations that I get to have with all of my clients. We talk about anything and everything and invite you to listen in as we get mic'd up for today's conversation. Today in the chair we have Autumn. Autumn is the owner of Seasoned Salon and a dear friend of mine. The question is, what would you do if after 17 years of building a business, it all of a sudden burns down in the middle of the night and you're left to rebuild? That's what happened to Autumn and her salon. Please enjoy this episode as she tells us how she managed to go through the fire and rise back up when most would walk away. Here we go. Are you ready?
Ready.
Welcome. I feel like John Oliver on last week tonight. Welcome. I'm excited. I've never cut your hair. This is going to be a first.
Excited.
This is going to be a first for me, first for you.
All these years.
I know, because it's been. I mean, we've known each other now for. I think we figured this out at one point.
When did we start school? 2021 or 2001?
2001.
Yeah.
So yeah, 23 years. That's wild, isn't it?
It is.
So. I want to get into a lot of stuff with you because you have a lot of stuff to talk about. But you and I met in hair school. So I want to just kind of touch a little bit really quick on why did you pick hair school out of all of the things in the world that you could do? Because, I mean, this is just me speaking as a hairdresser. I think it's really interesting to hear people's stories as to why they chose hair, because I know why I chose it, but why did you choose hair?
So mine's like unique also, but I kind of didn't go to hair school because I chose hair. I actually wanted to own a salon. That was my, wanted to
going
be a
into hair
owner.
school.
So I wanted to go to hair school so I knew the back ends of hair and to be able to do hair so then I could own a salon and be a hairstylist to know what I'm doing.
So why did you want to own a salon? Was that something that you grew up around? Was it something that...
Not necessarily hair salon, but my family, a lot of entrepreneurs. I always thought being a vet would be cool because I do love animals, and that is my first language. I'm actually surprised I didn't do that. But I just didn't want the school of the vet school, right?
Yes.
And hair... It started back when I was like 13. I was talking to my grandma, and she was a hairstylist and put my grandpa through optometry school in the 50s. And she owned a little salon and a wig shop. And when we were talking about like what we wanted to be and all the different things, I kind of went through, well, I could be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. I could be a vet. Like I kind of went through like this random things as a 13-year-old would think. And I said, like, maybe I could do hair like you. And then she was like, really touched on it and said, like, if I were to do it, then she would encourage me to open because I have a personality that touches people so that I can make that difference with the people.
So it was your grandma?
So it was my grandma that kind of inspired me or just, like, gave me the seed, I guess you would say. Planted this seed there. And then from that, I grew the seed myself and really like thought about it and analyzed it, researched it. I did like some school projects on being a salon business owner when you had to do like essays and things. And so I kind of just looked into it, and then that was what I put on. So yeah.
Because I do remember, but I mean, my memory is a bit foggy, but I remember when you first opened your salon, but how far out of hair school? Was that like right after you finished hair school? That was the first?
No. So I graduated hair school 2022. So like July of 22. And then, or 02. Why do I keep saying 22? 02. And then I started at a salon. So I worked with you guys a little bit at Stephen Michaels.
Yeah, back in the day.
I assisted there. And then I started at Aspen Salon in Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
And I worked there. And then my grandma was getting sick. And her kidney was failing, so she had diabetes really bad, and she was going to kidney failure, and that was in 05. And so I really wanted her to like see it, like be part of the salon. So I kind of just randomly like came home one day and I was like to my husband, hey, like we got to like open a salon. Like we got to start looking. And he was like, what? Why? And I just felt like it was time. So we just started looking, and I was analyzing like building one out or buying an existing or, you know, like all the different things. And where Seasons came, it was an existing salon. So it was called Willow.
I was going to say, so how did you find, because the first salon that I guess you bought it. Mm-hmm. How did you find Willow Salon?
I don't remember. I think just driving by, like looking in places that had for lease on the windows, you know, on the doors. And it happened to be a salon that was like available for lease. So I just called the number, and it was too much. Like they were just asking way too much for it. And I was like, oh, I don't have that like right now just to be able to pay out. And then I was like, kept looking. I was like, well, I don't really want somebody else's salon. Like I want my own. And then a couple weeks, like it just kept like popping up. The realtor kept calling. I kept thinking about it. So then I was actually doing hair. My dad told me I wasn't ready. I had to take some business classes. I was too young. I was 21. My husband was like, I don't know if we're ready for this yet. Like, how are we going to afford it? What are we going to do? Like, do you even have your business plan? Do you even know what you're doing? So, like, I wrote everything out. I had a business plan. I had goals. Like I said, like, we could do this. Just have faith, I guess. And I think the biggest thing I say now is all I had to lose at the time was pride, and I wasn't willing to lose that.
Yeah.
So I gave it all I got. But Willow was the name. I guess the owners had a divorce, and so the husband was trying to get rid of it.
Okay. So then you bought that, and then you changed it. So tell me.
So when I bought it, it had been shut down for a year and a half. So it didn't have any staff, clients, anything. So basically it was just the shell. Like it was already built out as a salon and spa. So I didn't have to do the build out for it.
Which is awesome.
Which was
the build
awesome.
out for a
it's
salon.
Expensive, right?
Yeah.
And now I look back and I'm like, okay, Autumn, you were wild. But they were asking $70,000 for it, and to me as a 21-year-old, that was a lot.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, well, I just built a salon a year ago, and it definitely is more than $70,000. So it felt like a lot then. But the realtor called, said they're super desperate just to make an offer. And I was like, okay, well, I have $10,000 cash in my savings account. I guess that's my offer, and I can sign tomorrow. And so he called me back when my client was processing and said, it's yours.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
So at that time, did you know that you wanted to call your salon? Like, had you thought about a name for the salon previous, like back when you were in hair school thinking, I'm going to open a salon one day and it's going to be called this? Kind
of, yes. I've kind of always loved Seasons because I feel like there's a season for everything.
Yeah.
So Seasons, yes, my name's Autumn. So, and my grandma used to introduce me as Autumn, her favorite season. So that always like it goes with it. But I also thought that there's a season for everything, and everyone's life are at different seasons, and they come into a salon and a spa for different reasons and different seasons of their lives. If it's because of a divorce and they need to feel good, or if it's a loss, or if it's a birthday, or there's always something that somebody's doing or going through as to why they choose to come in and get services. And then also you have your regulars that come in just always. But I feel like your first time clients like that, when they come in, it's for a season. And so I feel like Seasons was a place I wanted to create, a safe place for all to feel loved and welcome.
That's awesome.
So that's where it came.
Well, and it's now, because owning a salon, I think sometimes people don't quite understand the difficulties that come along with owning a salon.
Yes.
My wife had said one time, like, to a stylist that was talking, she's like, you guys only ever get to see Mike, the owner, and the stylist. Like, you don't get to see the one that comes home crying because things are tough. You don't get to come home, like, when he's stressed, or when somebody leaves. It's weird because in a salon setting, when somebody leaves, it's more.
It's family.
It's family. It's weird. It's not like you're this top down kind of a thing. We all do the same thing. We all work within the same realm. We're all building a clientele, or at least in most salons that I've known the owners, they're also stylists. So it's awesome that you're able to take that stuff on, but it's also like, man, it's crazy. And you, over the years, have had to deal with some real challenges.
Yes.
So the most recent one, I want to talk about this one first, because I think it doesn't matter if it was a salon or anything. I feel like it's one of those experiences that, and I still remember, so your salon burned down. I'll let you kind of talk about that in a second. But I remember seeing that on the news, and immediately my heart sunk. Because as a business owner, you can immediately imagine, what would I have done? Mm-hmm. Like, how would I handle this? Because that's that's your livelihood. That's your life. Like, and that, at the time, you had owned the salon, was it 17 years. 17 years. So kind of walk me through that day of finding out that my salon's on fire. And what do you do? Like, as an owner of the business that's on fire, where do you go? Yeah, like, what do you do? What's the...
That was wild. I just got a call from our alarm system saying that our power went out. That there was motion on our alarms, and then the power was off. So I'm thinking someone's robbing us, right? Like, there's the motion, then they figured out how to turn the power off so the cameras and everything aren't showing, right? Like, that's what went to my head first.
Yeah.
So I log in, and so I say, okay, send the cops, like, no one should be there. And it's 5:00 in the morning. I log in, and there was the 8 cameras, there was 3 still up, and there was motion on one of them. So there's only motion on one of the 8. But when I'm looking at, I couldn't see anybody, I couldn't see anything. Now I know it was smoke. Then I had no idea. There's a ghost in there? I had no idea. So I'm like, okay, something's wrong. And my husband was gone, and I just had my 3 girls at home. And so I woke my girls up, and I said, hey, I'm going to run to the salon really quick. They just called, something's off, so I'm just meeting the cops there. So I'll be home in a little bit, to stay asleep. So I left. When I got to the light on 8th North, I just looked over, and there was, at the time, 1 fire truck there, and you could see smoke coming off the roof. And I was like, no, you're joking. And so I just called my husband. I'm like, our salon's on fire. Oh my gosh. And so I pull in, and at the time, they were all just standing out. There was a bunch of firefighters, policemen, and then the 1 fire truck. And they were all just kind of standing. The fire truck wasn't even putting water out yet. And I run to the front, park right at the front doors, start running the front doors. I can open the doors for you. I was thinking they were waiting to have the doors open to go in and let the fire out or whatever. And they literally pulled me back. They're like, you can't go in, you can't go in, it's gonna collapse. And at that point, I just fell to the ground. And I was like, what do you mean I can't go in? And so then the other trucks came, and then they started the water. And then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, what happened? What's on fire? Where's the fire at? I'm trying to ask questions, and they're they don't know anything. They're not really talking. Tell me I couldn't go past this fire truck. You can't pass this fire truck. You have to stay behind this. And probably about 20 minutes into me being there, then I saw the flames. And the flames were out the roof. So at that point, I'm thinking the fire started inside the salon, and now they're out the roof. We have 10 feet ceilings, the fire flames are 13, 14 feet high, holy cow, my place is gone. I'm dying. I'm bawling. The first thing I did was I texted the team. The only thing I could say was I sent him a photo of it, and then I just said, I'm weak to my knees to let you know that the salon's on fire today. We won't be here for clients, but we'll be back to work on Monday. So then everyone was texting, like, what's up? What do you mean? Like, what can I help? And I think they were thinking, like this little fire. And then people just started coming.
Stylists started coming?
Yeah, stylists started coming, clients, like the parking lot. Oh my gosh, was full of people. Like, I don't even know who was all there. But we had a full day. So like that day, I had 37 people on my schedule for staff members on my schedule accepting clients with full books. I think it was 158 clients that day. Wow. Were scheduled for multiple, 1 to 5 services, just depending what they were getting done. It was the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so it was busy, one of our busiest times. Like, we're coming in to like the holiday season, and that's like kind of your bread and butter that helps get you through the hard ones. So I was trying to figure out, like, I don't know how to contact these clients. I don't know how to let them know, like, not to come to their appointments. I'm trying to figure it out, but like, I couldn't even log into, like, now I look back and I'm like, I had everything on my phone. I had all the logins, like I could have, but it took me like half an hour to even try to log into like my schedule on my phone, because I would like do it and then sit and stare. Like, I was just like, I cannot believe this is reality. And then, everyone just asked me, like, what are we going to do? And I just said, we're going to, like, stay together and we're going to get through it. Like, we'll find a place, we'll be back up somewhere. I had faith, I guess. I don't know where that really came from. Like, how did I know we'd be back on Monday? I don't know. I hadn't talked to anyone. Or I didn't know that would be a thing,
Yeah.
But inside I was like, well, I guess I have 24 hours to figure, I have Sunday to figure out where to go. And then it just kept burning and kept burning and kept burning. It was 4 hours. And then finally they got all of it out, and they had to break like all the windows, and I just had to watch everything go. The thing that I get asked the most was, like, was anyone there when it caught fire? Like, was anyone hurt? And I always thought, no, like, no one was there, but we lost our soul that day.
Yeah. That's one of those things that you don't have to be there for it to hurt, and for somebody to be, a life to be wrecked, a life to be destroyed, mm-hmm. or I don't want to say destroyed, because you've since come back, and we'll get into that in a minute, but like, there's a massive amount of hurt that goes along with that. And then for you being the owner, that hurt carries.
Like, you're
it's
feeling
not
it
just
for everybody.
one day. Yeah.
Like, and I always say I run a commission-based salon and spa, and why I do that is because for the spa setting, it's better or easier to be commissioned than booth rent when you're trying to create the whole of that. So I kind of have it across the board. So I have renters as well as commission, but I feel whenever I hire someone, I feel kind of a sole responsibility for their mortgage, their car payment, like their livelihood, because I'm the person that's helping provide their income, even though they're building their own clientele and they're commission based and they can make what they want to make or do what they want to do. I do feel that sense of responsibility of I need to be the person that gives them all the tools and opportunities to be the best that they can be. And if I don't have that space to do that, how am I going to do that? And then inside I thought, like, I had people say, oh, well, you can just like hurry and build a salon in your house. Like, your husband could turn one of your rooms into a salon. You can start doing hair there on Monday. And I was like, no, I'm not in it for me. Like, I'm here for all of them. I just tell 37 people that they don't have a job.
Yeah.
Like, all these clients, like, there was clients where they're a safe place. Like, they come into us and they talk to us. They feel comfortable with us. And I just say, you don't have a place to go anymore. You have to find somewhere new.
Yeah. See, and that's one of the things for you as an owner. Like, they get to deal with the actual, like, what's happening right now. They dealt with the fire. They dealt with, like, this. you deal with that. Then you deal with like, okay, now we've got to figure out how do we take care of all these people that there's a sense of responsibility and love and care about those people because they are your family. They are your peeps.
Yeah, they've chosen you. There's people that have chosen to support Seasons for, 17, 15, 12, 10, 1 year, anything. They've still supported. And when it's a small business, you're supporting a dream and you're supporting a family, and you're doing more than just buying a good, that's what it is. This industry is you're helping somebody, and in return, we're helping them.
Well, and one of the things that I feel like, and the community, I feel like came together for you.
They did. It was amazing.
In a way that was, like, those are the kinds of moments, especially in a day and age where, like, our world is an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Like, we literally have the craziest things, like leaders of our country that are just, like our government is so distraught and they can't hold a thought. You do tend to lose hope in humanity in certain aspects of things. And it's sad, but it takes situations like this for you to see a spark of humanity. Absolutely. And be like, okay, there's good people in the world, and there are people that truly do care, and it's not just this social media, it's me, it's us and we. And
absolutely.
So what, like,
that was, so for me, it was always a team, but I did think like, okay, like, what do I do? How do I do this? And I instantly, like, my text messages I remember when I looked down, there was like 275 messages was the first couple hours. I looked down on my phone and these messages were coming in one after another. And it was every single person, not like, yes, there was the message of just, I'm sorry this is happening to you. But it was, I found a space. I have a space here for you. I have this for you. Like, it was them. Like, you're not done. And so to me, I was like, if my community, my family, my friends, clients, like, are messaging me saying, I can go work at their place, or we can pick up where we're at, or they're here to support us, or they have supplies to donate, they're not seeing the picture as being done. They're not seeing Seasons as over.
Yeah.
And at that point, I knew, yes, I could change career paths. And quite frankly, I've like owning for 17 years, and Seasons was very successful. I could have walked away at 17 years and been happy, or felt like, sorry, I'm crying here. Yeah, felt like I could have, like, lived it, like, success there, right? I could have fulfillment. Okay, Seasons was great. It's done. It's a new chapter. I can do something else. I can go work at somebody else's salon. Yeah. Or I can go do something else.
You could have walked away and nobody would have said anything.
I think it would have been, it was almost, I think maybe it would have been expected, but everyone was just more about like Seasons, like, how do we keep Seasons? And so to me, I was like, hey, well, walking away isn't the option. And so many people are watching me right now. And I opened Seasons to make that difference. And I've always felt like I'm just the quiet girl in the corner, that I didn't ever put myself out there, like, on social media or to the industry to be like, I'm a leader in this industry, right? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I never put myself out there to be like, I'm the leader in this industry. And then in that moment, I was like, everybody is watching me. Everyone is waiting to see what I do next. And so I got to make them proud. Like, if they can believe I can do it, then I can believe I can do it. So I hadn't talked to anyone yet. when the news came the first time, it was like right as the fire was out, the news came and they captured like a little bit of the actual burning.
Yeah.
And then they came and talked to me and said like, what's next? And I said like, we'll be back on Monday. I don't know where, if it's in my garage, we'll be somewhere. And that's like kind of what I told the team. And then the next 24 hours was like whirlwind. I held a meeting with the team at my house like 4:30 that night and just said like, I understand, you know, this is hard on all of us and we all lost something. And I don't know the gist, you know, everyone asking me insurance and asking me this. And I'm like, I don't know the gist of anything. Like I've made my claim, but I don't know what's going to come from here.
Yeah.
So just hang on tight for a minute and we'll make sure everything's right.
Hey everyone, Mike here. I just wanted to interrupt this episode and say thank you for listening. And please remember to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We need your support to keep these episodes coming. So spread the word. And now back to the conversation.
Yeah.
See, but I think these are the parts of owning a salon or owning any business that people don't see. People don't see the behind the scenes. They see the quick and that. You were behind the scenes answering phone calls, responding to texts, figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And being like, and truly like, you were up and functioning Monday.
Yeah.
Like you were,
because of you.
You were going.
Yeah.
But you had other people, there were lots of people that were reaching out. There were things, you had options, you had things to do. But you organized it so, and kept your head on straight enough to be able to function and to get it. And I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of stuff that was going on in your head, but you still did function. And I think that it says a lot about you in how you handled it. And I hope that your team, because part of the aftermath of that is you did lose some of your staff.
Yeah. I lost 80%.
I hope that they understand and how difficult what you did was, and that what you did was for their benefit.
Yeah.
Because it did keep money in their pockets. It kept business going so that you could function.
Yeah. It's actually, like, I look back and there was a divine intervention. Like, it wasn't the universe, the community, everybody, like, powered together and helped. And I guess it was the people you expect to be there and to help the most aren't. And the ones that you don't even know, like, there was this cute girl from Canada. Like, how did she find me? She found it online on the internet. Someone, shared it, and she shared her story and how she's been wanting to open a salon and hasn't had the courage and all these things. And I've watched her now open her salon. Like, go through that. Like, if you can lose everything and do it, I can do it too. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the success. Like, That's what it's about. And I've made some amazing friends along the way, and I've grown as a person, like, what really matters and what doesn't. And I don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah. There's so much to the bigger picture. And it was hard. I think losing the clients and this, even like, the staff and clients, every day there was a text or an email or a call, like, someone reached out to me here and it sounds like a good opportunity for me and it's going to be beneficial and I'm going to go. And, it's like, it's hard to not be mad. Like, inside, my first instinct was like, everyone's going to better opportunities and I'm over here, like, trying to provide one.
Yeah.
But then inside I'm like, it was trauma for every one of them. They all lost something that day. It was building, but there was something inside that building that was where they created. That's where their work was, their masterpiece. And whatever I guess they needed to do to heal, I understand, and I respect them for whatever choices they had to make.
Yeah.
In their journey, it's their own journey. And I'm the number one supporter. Like I'll be their first like. I'll comment on everything. I'll always support them and be happy for whatever they're doing in their journey. So although it's hard, it's okay. A lot of good people have came in.
Well, but now that you've gone, because you really, you came, we had your staff, you came and you worked here with us. And it was what, was it only 3 months?
Yeah.
3.5 months, something like that?
Yeah.
But you went from 3.5 months from figuring that out, finding a place, building it out, and reopening in 3.5 months.
And building, like we were set up, so Salon was here, Spa was at Simply.
Yep.
And so I was running 2 businesses, like 2 different locations, running from one place to the next. And I was still doing hair. How, I don't know. But I was still doing hair. Hopefully everyone's hair is still okay.
Well, I remember you coming in, like it was, and this is something like not a lot of people would say. You are an emotional person. So I'm the guy, and I don't want to cry in front of people.
Yeah.
I try to hold it in. You will open up. But I would see you cry in the back and then come and put on a happy face and do somebody's hair and then go back and continue crying. And it's like, wow. Like, but at the same time, organizing the build out, which that in itself is a nightmare.
We did that. That also is just amazing in 90 days. And we did it with city permits and everything. Like we did it I guess it's wrong to say the right way, but we did. Like we did it, everything legal, everything agreed and permitted. And with that, like when we went to the city and said, okay, we're wanting to come out. And mind you, I had to buy an Orem business license for January to March, where we were going to be in Linden once we were in March. But they said if I was working with you, I still had to have a business license here and in Orem. So I had to go through the whole business license and transferring my business through the government and everything to this address, and then transferring it all again to our new one.
Yeah. See, and that's the kind of stuff that, again, people don't realize. They see the owner that's at the business and they get to do, come in a little later maybe, or they get to do this or they get to do that. But that 90 days of pure hell, 4 months.
Everyone asks me, where'd you get these mirrors or the different things in this salon? I'm like, Amazon and Wayfair. The entire salon is from Amazon and Wayfair. What was fast shipping and fast buying. I didn't go to a single store.
Well, but and it takes time. People don't understand. It takes time to research out those things, to find the perfect mirror, to find the perfect chair, to find the thing. Because you don't just go out and buy first of whatever. It has to fit your vision. You have an idea of this is what I want my salon to look like and feel like. And it's
what was hard at the time too. This one I haven't really talked about or ever shared really, but it was I wanted my salon back. So I wanted what Seasons was, versus creating something new. If you're building out a new salon, you have the excitement of building out this new space. I'm going to become a new salon owner. I get to design whatever I want, and I get to have this perfect layout or whatever in my vision of building something new. And I'm over here no, how do I recreate Seasons? I just want Seasons. I want the uneven floors. I want the ceiling that doesn't match. I want I wanted all the imperfect things about Seasons. And how do you create that from building something brand new from the ground up? You don't. So that was also hard, is when I got into the new space, I didn't get to love it like a typical owner does. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't seasons. And clients would come in and they would say like, oh, it's just not the same. It's just not seasons. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just did all of this. And it's not the same. Like, I'm trying to be like the trend and the new styles and the new looks. And I had to take, okay, what's like timeless? And okay, I only have 12 staff members right now, but I've been to 85. So like, how many stations do I want? How big do I want it to get? How, like, you have to think the vision.
Yeah.
And how do you think the vision when everything was taken from you? Like, that I think was the hardest inside. And I think there's something about framing your first dollar, you know, when you become a business owner and you make that first dollar.
Yeah.
There's something about like the excitement of I made something. In this situation, it's that you had the dollars and they were all taken away from you. It's that dollar's not good enough. I had this and I want this. So that mindset inside, that was the biggest devil to fight. It was like, okay, it's not what you had, it's what you're creating now. And you have to like, I literally had to go back to my 21-year-old self. And what did she do? Like, what would she think? You know, like, she didn't ever imagine you to be where you're at 17 years later. So go back to her and think from there, how are you going to get back to where you are now? And that's, like, the process I had to take.
So were there parts of looking back at your 21-year-old self that like kind of, I don't want to say like they revamped you? They were like, yes, that's where I need to go. Like, what were those parts that 21-year-old Autumn told 22-year-old Autumn?
I just remembered $70,000 at the time, a 21-year-old me, sounded like too much and I couldn't do it. And I'm like, what I would give to build a salon for $70,000 now. So you can do it. Like you've done it before. And then I also thought, okay, I remodeled in 2017. Like we tore out the entire salon and put in all new floor, all new ceilings, all new lighting, all new stations, everything in 2017. And we did that over Christmas break, like Christmas to New Year's. And gave the staff that week off and did it in a week. And my husband reminded me of that. He's like, we rebuilt an entire 1,500 square foot salon in a week from the ground up. Like, we tore everything out and put it all back. He's like, we can do that again. And I was like, okay, like, this isn't my first remodel. So that's the way I kind of had to, like, change my thought process. We're revamping, it's a remodel. I'm like providing bigger and better. It's not bigger, but I'm providing better, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make things better than they were, you know, and I listened to the things that like I wish I could have changed throughout the years, and I implemented those, so that was cool. But my 21-year-old self bought somebody else's vision. But then I was 39. The 39-year-old self got to create her own this time. And so that's cool.
Well, and I love your new space. I think that you did an excellent job with it. I think the one thing that I love the absolute most too, though, is your new logo.
Yeah.
Because you did keep seasons. Like, it is seasons and it will forever be seasons. But you added a part to the logo that tells the story of who you are. It tells the story of what, you know, it truly captures your life. Yeah. And so tell the people that are watching, like, why you chose what you did and the story behind that.
So we added a phoenix to the logo. So part of the S is the phoenix with the wings. And then we have the Phoenix just as a standalone to use as well, like just that S with the wings. And I felt it really tied in, and seasons has that new meaning, is there's a season for everything, and you can rise above anything. It's rising to that higher power and giving that inspiration to others that the season you're in might be hard, but it's not going to be hard forever.
So do you find, does that help you, like every day you go into the salon and you see that, and that, like, again, it's like visiting your 21-year-old self, but now you have this symbol of like,
here we are. Yeah, no, it does. It's the Phoenix. I don't know. A lot of people have mentioned it and said they've noticed it, but I'm like, I don't know if many people have noticed it. But to me, every morning when I walk in those doors and I see the salon, there is that, like, you can rise for the day. Like, you can seize and just focus on the day, focus on the moment you're in, and not the big picture of how we're going to get there. And that's through the 3 months we were here, and then the last year of building, that was the biggest thing, is getting through what was happening that day, what I needed to do each day to make it work. So, and then the salt cave we added, that was new. We didn't have that in the old space, and we talked about it, and we just never implemented or did it. And that I'm very thankful that we had it. It has already touched so many lives, just simply letting people go in and relax. And there's a little healing room, and it has a Phoenix on the wall, and it's beautiful. So many like new clients or clients that don't know the story will tell me, like, I love that you have a Phoenix in here. It makes me feel like this, or whatever they're going through. They were with, like, the Phoenix resonated with them, and they find a connection with it to help give them strength and power. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess the big, like, now that you've gone through hellfire and you're
walked through fire.
You've walked the fire. You're now back at, like, what's next? What's the...
Now I just, like, need to get out of survival mode. As you asked about one of my staff members, I do have a few trickling in.
That's awesome.
That I'm so thankful that are coming back.
See, but I think that's a big part of the culture. You created a culture. 17-year-long culture career. Yeah. More than that now, because you're still there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that people leave, and I think you're right. Like, people, when that happened, your staff, it's human nature. We think about us. Yeah. We think about me. And I got to think about me first. Yeah. As an owner, it's hard because you have to put your needs aside and focus on other people first, and then come back to you later. But those people that did leave because they, again, they had to worry about themselves. Mm-hmm. There's something about a culture that if you fall in love with a culture, it is really hard to sometimes step away from it. And it might take time, but they eventually will be like, man, nobody does it quite like Autumn.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. It's the family. So, yeah, the family, and we've created the family. I guess I need to get a goal or a plan now. I think on Saturday we've consistently been staying busy the last couple, like since Valentine's has been really good for us. And the last couple of Saturdays, it's been like, okay, we're back. Like, it's back to what we were. Like, we're getting the calls. I used to count the calls. We had 9 calls today, the whole day. And, it was insane. I would have all the things insane. But it was busy. We had over 100 clients come in this last Saturday, and we hit, like, totals and goals that we were hitting before the fire. And I had 21 on my staff that day, and I was okay. Like, it's coming. Like, I think if you would have told me a year ago, like, we were here March 9th a year ago, and just trying to rush everyone to get into the new space. Uh-huh. And if you would have told me that we would be where we are now, I don't think I would have believed you. So I'm really, I think just that, and then creating our new culture with the new team and the new way of going, because it is different now. Like Seasons is different. It's a different space. It draws in different clientele. It's a whole different business, which is so weird.
It's not bad to change.
No, and it's not
bad to be different. But it's
just not your normal.
That's life. I mean, I'm a different person today than I was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. You're in the same, it's a matter of, are you taking those experiences that life throws at you and either using them to learn and to grow, or are you using them to complain and just basically shut yourself down? Yeah. And I think
I thought about it. I was like, could I just grab a bottle and go lay in the closet for 4 weeks?
I mean, you could do that on the weekend. Grab a bottle, go sit in the closet.
Yeah.
But no, I think that you've taken, and again, we just touched on one thing of your life. You've had a lot. But you're taking those experiences and basically putting your stamp on who you are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's exceptionally commendable.
Thank you.
I think it's very inspirational. And you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. I think it's hard to be proud of yourself. I don't know why I'm that weird person, but I really can say I am proud. Yeah. It is something I really don't know. It's not for the weak. I don't think what I've gone through is for the weak, for sure. And that our family setting at home has become stronger and more powerful. And even I've noticed in my girls I have 3 daughters, and their extracurricular activities, they love to dance. And the power and strength that they've put into that, this little bit, also I've noticed is, 1, it's their way of letting out the frustration, but 2, it's if mom could not have anything and then create something, if I work towards it, I can be on the top too. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, I had 3 girls watching me that were the most important girls in my life. Yep. So I had to make sure that the move that they saw would be to give them courage to do it too.
Well, you definitely set that example to them, because you have shown your daughters how to be a strong, very powerful, secure woman.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
My one last question that I would have for you is, if now going through that, what advice would you give to somebody? It can be a salon owner, a business owner, anybody that feels like it's a struggle. They're having those days that it's like, why don't I just quit? Mm-hmm. What advice? What is the one big takeaway for you that you would now share as part of your experience?
I would say, just again, it's day by day, is make the best of the actual day you're in, and not the big picture of how am I going to make my million. You're not in a day. The same work, it's repetitive. It's going in and doing it and failing and failing and failing, and then getting up one day and you didn't fail. All of a sudden it works. And it's just believing in yourself enough to let it work.
Yeah. Because
it will. It'll work. If you try and you put everything you have into it, it'll work.
That's the thing. Put in the effort. I feel
it's not going to come. Yes, I prayed. I wrote in my manifesting journal. I did everything, right? But none of that would have created this. Seasons didn't get rebuilt from me just waiting for the universe or God to give it to me.
Yeah.
I had to take the steps and the tools and everything I knew to make it happen, and they were just there holding my hand along the way to help me make it happen, giving me the strength on the days I didn't have it. It's okay to borrow somebody else's faith.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Autumn, thank you.
Yes, thank you. My hair's beautiful.
Your hair looks amazing.
So good. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I know it's an emotional story to tell, but I really do appreciate it. I'm glad that you came into my life. It's been a long, long time, but you're doing it, and it's awesome to see other people succeed. So
that's what I love too. Thank you.
Okay, there we go.